Conor McGregor's got to fight. He's fighting. You see that? He bopped him. That's pretty good, right? Is it 235 or 236? Welcome to the DynamiteGizmo Podcast, everyone. Episode 235. Whew, I had to hold my breath until I checked it. Here's today's card. It's tradition around here to show you the card, but it's not tradition to show you what's on the card, but you'll find out anyway. Because why? Because Grandma's going to talk about it. It's going to be a short episode again today. I don't have much to talk about. I did prepare for some stuff. It's a little old news in terms of UFC, but we're going to talk about it anyway. It doesn't matter if you have a busy week. You still got to get the shit done. And by the shit, I mean this shit. And by this shit, I mean a podcast. And that's what we're doing. We're doing a podcast. Whether you like it or not, you have to get it done. It's part of the game. It's part of the cardnooshk. Who likes summer? I do. Who has a lot to do? I do. Who feels like they're overwhelmed with too much shit to do all the time? I do. But that's okay. I'd rather be crammed, packed, full of shit to do than have nothing to do and be anxious. If you're anxious, just find a shit ton of shit to do. Just cram every single day with an obnoxious amount of shit so that it piles over into the next day and the next day so that you have no time to think about anything else. It's the solution. That's the solution. Just have too much shit to do. Just start doing too much shit. And then you won't have anxiety anymore. You'll just be very stressed. But no anxiety, though. It's the cure. It's the cure, dude. Let's jump into our first topic of the day. Or maybe I should mention what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Malcolm Wellmaker. We're going to talk about Rodolfo Bellato faking his injury, his knockout. And then we're going to end it off by talking about Shavkat Rakhmonov. Because someone on the Venum team decided, I'm going to post his custom shorts on the internet. And then I'm going to take them down. They put his custom shorts on the internet for sale. And then they took them all away. What? Let's talk about Malcolm Wellmaker, shall we? Want to know something crazy? Just this year alone, at least 19 UFC fighters have lost their O. Their undefeated streaks have been shattered. 19. There have been at least 19. I think total 19. I did a quick count. I know that there's at least 19, okay? And some of the most notable names, such as Umar Nurmagomedov, Shara Magomedov, Tatiana Suarez, Ray Saruria, Mick Parkin, okay? And one of the most hyped prospects of all, the one that we were looking forward to, the one that we were encouraging, the one that we said is going to rise to the top, Peyton Talbot was one of those undefeated motherfuckers who lost their O. Now, Peyton Talbot burst into the UFC spotlight. He won his Contender Series fight by submission. Then he debuted into the UFC with a knockout over Cameron Saaiman, earning a Performance of the Night bonus as well. And then blitzed Gamori in 19 seconds with another Performance of the Night bonus. He had it all. Flashy finishes, buzz cuts, confidence, and a unique look. That poofy fro and the void, the circular void tattoo he had on his chest and his back, or still has, I shouldn't say had. Everybody took notice to Peyton Talbot. You remember, we all wanted him to be the prospect of the year. Even Rogaine himself had this to say.
Did you see this past fight night, this last weekend, with Rose Namajunas?
No.
In the undercard, this kid, Cameron Simon, who's like one of the best guys at 135, very slick striker, South African kid, like very tough, very good kid. He fought this dude, Peyton Talbot, and I'd never seen this guy fight before. This kid is a motherfucker, dude. He's so good. He's 25 years old. He's fought like once, I think, in the UFC and once in the Contender Series. And this is my first time watching him. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man. He's so fucking good.
They're doing this since they're 12.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when he said that? That was a little while ago. Mr. Rogaine. He knows what's up. But even though we had all that hype with Peyton Talbot, he had a fight recently against, apparently you're supposed to say it Hoyano, or Hoyani, not Royani, Barcelos. You know, he's somewhat of a grizzled vet. You could kind of say he's a vet. He's been in it for a bit. I wouldn't quite classify him as a vet, but he's been in the UFC for a bit. And it wasn't even close, him and Peyton Talbot. Barcelos dominated him with takedowns, control. He was composed the whole time. The fight went the distance, and Talbot lost his O. And just like that, immediately, the hype collapsed. People flooded to Twitter calling him fraud-checked, saying he was fraud-checked over and over again. He was exposed. But here's the thing. He wasn't exposed. He wasn't fraud-checked. He was just tested. Okay, and that's the difference between fans who know the game and casuals just chasing a perfect record. This isn't boxing. Everyone wants to compare it to boxing because in boxing, that's the goal. The goal is to be undefeated. In MMA, that's not the case. You're going to get losses. It's part of the game. Everyone eventually loses. The real question is, how do they come back? And Talbot does fight again soon. So we will find out during International Fight Week. So next week, Peyton Talbot is coming back against Felipe Lima. That's going to tell us everything. That's the perfect guy he could go up against right now. Can he bounce back? Can he sharpen up his ground defense? Because that's where he was weakest. He came in knocking everyone out, and then the second Barcelos took him to the ground, he had nothing he could do. I think he still could potentially be a future champ if he pulls his fucking straps up, if he tightens his belt buckle. He's only 26 years old. Peyton Talbot is far from done, okay? But while we take a look, while Talbot took his first loss, there was another undefeated phenomenon heating up in the UFC hemisphere. We've heard about him. I've talked about him. And that person is Malcolm Wellmaker. Malcolm Wellmaker's here. He's the next guy. We thought Peyton Talbot was the guy, but the second he took that loss, everyone smushed him into a mulch of nothing. But now we've got Malcolm. After UFC Atlanta, Wellmaker remains undefeated. Now sitting at 8-0. When you compare his path to Talbot's, it's arguably just as, if not more, impressive. He's got a first-round KO on the Contender Series. He's got a first-round KO over Cameron Simon. Yes, the same guy that Peyton Talbot fought and knocked out. And now he's got a first-round KO over Chris Moitinho, a guy who Sean O'Malley couldn't even finish. All right? And we've got a post here just showing you, in case you missed it, Malcolm Wellmaker's classy knockout. He planned this, and we saw him planning this in the locker room. He knew exactly what he was doing. This is crispy clean, dude. To watch this again. Okay, he fakes a little kick. Oh, it's so quick. Lock me up and call me Barcelos. That was nice. That's 3 UFC level fights that he's had already. 3 clean surgical finishes. They were all right hooks. Every one of them. He's becoming known for his right hook. He's like the opposite of Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira comes in with the left hook. Malcolm Wellmaker comes in with the right hook. I'm telling you, all his knockouts in the UFC are right hooks. That's what they are. And here's the cool thing about Malcolm Wellmaker. Here's what else makes him cool. If you didn't know. After his debut, he was able to quit his job as a pipefitter / welder. In his post-fight interview this past weekend from Atlanta, he had this to say. And I don't even remember what this is, but he had this to say. So let's listen together. What was going to happen? I said he was 9-0. He's actually 10-0 now. I said he was 8-0. I said he was 8-0. What is wrong with me? He's not 8-0. He's 10-0. Oh my Lord, how did I fuck that one up? Anyway, we saw that just in that clip right there. You could hear the gratitude in his voice. This kind of moment reminds you of why fans fall in love with this sport. Look at this guy. How could you not feel happy for him? He's living his dreams to an extreme extent. Imagine working a blue-collar job, and at night you have to train MMA, only to finally debut into the UFC, and every single one of your fights back-to-back are just knockout after knockout, performance bonus after performance bonus. And you get to quit your job. Oh, it must feel so good, dude. Everybody's loving Malcolm Wellmaker. You can't hate him. He's lighting up all over the internet. They're calling him a future killer, the future champ. And I have to agree so far. His striking, his confidence, his charisma, it's all there, dude. It's all there. He's next in line. He'll get there. So what's next for Malcolm Wellmaker? If the UFC books him smart, he's probably one win away from possibly a ranked opponent. I could see that happening. I think that's the way it should be. I don't think he should go up against a ranked opponent yet. I think he's maybe 1 or 2 fights away, and then he can go for a ranked opponent. A test against a durable top 20 guy would be the perfect next step. Malcolm didn't lay out a name when he was asked during the post-fight interview in the octagon, but I'm sure he'll come back soon to keep his momentum alive. He may even be back by the end of the year. So honestly, this whole situation reminds me of an early Cody Garbrandt. Don't you remember? Before the TJ Dillashaw fight. He had those hands, dude. Big knockouts, big energy. People thinking he would be the next big thing. And he was for a bit. Wellmaker might be on the same path, but even better. I think he'll be better, bigger. Baloney bigger, like a big log of baloney. So if you're new to the UFC and you want to know what it's like to follow a fighter from the bottom to the top, started from the bottom, now here, and watch a guy go from nobody to a potential superstar, Malcolm Wellmaker is your guy. He's your guy, dude, and who knows, maybe one day it all comes full circle, and Wellmaker will face Peyton Talbot to see which one of these rising bantamweights becomes a future champion. This is the part of the sport that's so addicting, watching stars form in real time. Dude, maybe that's the next step for Wellmaker. Maybe he should face Talbot. I'm a Mexican boy. I'm a Mexican girl. Now, I know the Bellato story is old news at this point. But you see, I film these on every Wednesday. I film these podcasts on Wednesdays. I'm going to puke in my mouth. I just did. Fights happen on Saturdays. So I have to prepare my podcast a few days in advance. So when it comes time to talk about the story, it's usually too old by then. But that's okay. We're going to talk about it anyway. For the folks that didn't know about it. Okay? So let's start off from the beginning. All right? Not even that far back ago. Not even that long ago. I'm going to go this way. I don't want to get too close to this logo. Okay? It fucks me up when I make clips. We were supposed to see Paul Craig fight Rodolfo Bellato last month on the Burns versus Morales card. Remember? I talked about it. Your grandmother talked about it. Henry Cejudo talked about it. Johnny Walker talked about it. But if you remember, Bellato backed out 45 minutes before his walkout. And why? Oh, yeah. Oh, did you forget? It was because he had herpes. They discovered he had herpes 45 minutes before he was supposed to walk out to the UFC octagon. Somehow, nobody noticed up until the absolute last second. They were like, oh, you got herpes. You're going to give Paul Craig herpes, so you can't fight. Super disappointing because that was one of the only fights on that card that was worth watching. Other than Morales and Burns. So I sat there the whole night waiting for Paul Craig and Bellato, only to be disappointed. But that's okay. At the time, nope. Don't want to say that. At the time, we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if the fight was completely off and was never going to happen again. We didn't know if Paul maybe would have got a different opponent. That has happened before, but it was just a fight night, so why would they stick anyone in there? So at least we finally got the fight on the Atlanta card. At least they were like, okay, let's just reschedule these two motherfuckers. Put them on the Atlanta card. And you know what? That made an already solid fight night card even better. All right? But this time, even though the fight was rescheduled, things took an even stranger turn than herpes itself. You thought herpes was weird enough. It gets even weirder. All right? They get out to the octagon. The fight lasted right up until the final second of round one. Literally the final second. Paul Craig was dominating the whole time. And then right before the horn, he landed an upkick that appeared to knock Bellato out cold. At first glance, it appeared to knock him out cold. Or so it seemed. But before we get to that part, before we break down that part, let's just first talk about the rules of the UFC, at least the specifics of upkicks. Upkicks are legal, but only if your opponent isn't grounded. The unified rules say grounded opponent is anyone with a body part touching the canvas other than the soles of their feet. That includes a knee, elbow, or even a palm. So when we watch the replay, Bellato did have a knee on the ground when Craig landed that upkick. Why don't we take a look together? Don't worry, we'll watch it again. Don't worry. I know you're saying to yourself, I want to take a closer look. We'll get there. Okay? We'll get there. So it makes sense, all right? Technically speaking, that would be illegal. But if we take another look at the footage from a different angle, let's see what we got going on here. What's going on, Bellato? What are you doing, Bellato? What is that, huh? It's a little strange, isn't it? It looks like Bellato threw his arms up, didn't it? It looked like he went like this as he was going down to protest the upkick. As if he said to the ref, that was illegal. But as he's falling, he's like, oh, I guess I should pretend to be knocked out. So did Bellato fake the knockout? It seems like a lot of people think so. During the fight, as it was happening, MMA Guru had this to say. Rodolfo Bellato just faked that shit, so obviously it's insane. Paul Craig upkick there. All right? Even Anthony Smith, who was on the commentary fucking crew, or the analyst crew, whatever you want to call it that night, had this to say. Let me just zoom in here. You see, his eye comes to the referee to protest and then realizes maybe I can get a free win. Lays there, pretends he's unconscious, jolts back awake, allegedly. The referee comes over. That is a man that is awake. Pretends to grapple the referee as if he's unconscious, trying to get a cheap win. I've been doing this a long time, and I know what it looks like when somebody is faking it. So even Anthony Smith thinks so. Anthony Smith thinks so. So yeah, it's looking like Rodolfo might have not sold that one. I don't think so. But here's the thing. I watched it live. All right? And I didn't notice anything weird at all when I first watched it because I wasn't quite 100% paying attention. I had some folks over and we were having a conversation. So I'll be honest, for me, not fully paying attention, it looked like a clean knockout to me. I didn't even consider it could have been faked until I saw the slow-mo clips making the rounds on the internet. I started seeing everyone saying fake, it's fake, it's fake. And I'm like, wait, what? I didn't even notice. But now that I've seen it and I've seen everyone talk about it, I get the argument. You can definitely see why people are calling it questionable. And even after the fight was over, it was reported that Bellato went to the hospital and insisted on staying overnight, even though the doctor said he was perfectly fine to be discharged, according to the UFC medical staff. Now, that's not really proof that he did fake it, but it definitely doesn't help his case. If anything, it makes the whole thing look even more suspicious. But Bellato, on the other hand, he's standing by his side of the story. He posted this on the Instagrams. It's in a different language. I will translate this. Let me just scrolls up here. God knows about all things. To everyone cheering for me, I'm in good health and we'll be back soon. Thank you so much. Whoopsies. And I saw some things on the internet saying I was an actor there and stuff. The moment I was on the ground, I didn't expect to get kicked in the face illegally. It was a strong kick. When I looked at the judge to complain, my whole body began to tingle and my vision disappeared. After that, I don't remember anything. Anyone who's known me the longest knows I would never do this. I've never run from war. I hit 2x in less than 30 days. 2 trips in a row. Why would I fake something after all I've been through and on top of that winning the first round? You weren't winning the first round. I thank all the real ones for the positive messages. God is in charge. Is he? Because I think you faked it. I think you faked it, dude. I don't think God has anything to do about this. I think you faked it. You know what I mean? But are we going to really know for sure? I don't know. Is it possible that he could have got kicked in the face, protested, and then went tingly and got knocked out like he said? Is that possible? I think that could potentially be possible. But by the looks of it, he looked like he faked it. So what do you think? Did Bellato fake it? Or was it just a weird, awkward reaction to an illegal upkick? I don't know, dude. You tell me. I'm not a doctor. I hate to say it, but I'm not a doctor. And I know you think I am. But I'm not a doctor.
I don't think that's actually Ian's son. And, I don't like M&M's.
You little fucking rat.
I want to oil you up. What the fuck does that mean?
Dana. We're going to get an announcement next week. Like, it's finally here, people. Finally, next week, we're going to get an announcement about Tom Jones. Or, not Tom Jones. John Jones and Tom Aspinall. It's finally going to happen. I can't believe I said Tom Jones. John Aspinall. It's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, post-fight press conference of UFC 317, it'll be Tuesday. Because that's the matchmaking day. Or Wednesday at the latest. Because it'll take Tuesday to figure it out. And Wednesday it'll be at the latest. And if we don't get an announcement by then, I will never talk about it ever again. Because there's no point. There's no point in talking about it until we get an announcement, and that's the time to do it. You don't do it any other time. But we're not talking about that right now. We're not talking about that right now. Also, I just need to mention, there's a fight night this weekend. Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. I did make fight prediction sheets. They will be in the drive by this Friday. So if you want them, click the link in the fucking description and go download it. Okay? Don't be shy. All right, so Shavkat's got some news. Who would have thought? And no, it's not because he's coming back. It's because Venum posted his fucking shorts on their website for sale. Dude, they put his fucking shorts on the website for sale, his custom shorts. They've never existed, and they never had any talks about Shavkat getting custom shorts, but why would they even make them a thing and put them on the website if that didn't mean he was going to fight? Take a looky, Lou. Take a looky, Lou. I got it right here. Oh! It says Rakhmonov. You can't really see it. But you know these are Shavkat's. That's his colors. That's his flag. That's what he wears. Even if you were to question, oh, it might not be Shavkat. That is Shavkat, dude. That's Rakhmonov. They're beautiful. Beautiful shorts. By far my favorite. Mostly because of the colors. The design's cool too, but I love shorts like that. I would buy those shorts. I'd pay the money for those shorts. Those are Alex Pereira's. But what does it mean? What does it mean for Shakanator, for the Shavkat, for the Cotinator, for the Cot of Rakhmonovs? Is he back? And if he is back, who's he fighting? It's not going to be for the title. At least not yet. Islam's taking that shit. Is it going to be Bilal? Because Bilal was supposed to fight him anyway. Could it be Sean Brady? Could it be Leon? Maybe Kamaru Usman wants him now. I think maybe it would be Shavkat and Bilal. I think that would make the most sense. Because if Shavkat defeated Bilal, that would put Shavkat at the number one contender spot. And Shavkat did say on May 11th on X, he said this shit. He said, zoom in, please. He said, congratulations to JDM. It was great performance after long layover and injuries. You know I'm the real challenge at 170. Sooner or later, my time will come. Now, he did say here it was a great performance after long layover and injuries. After long layover and injuries. So does that mean he's all good to go now? But then at the end, he just says, sooner or later, my time will come. When's he going to come? When's he going to come? Is he going to come? Come. So there's no way. There's no way they just preemptively made these shorts just in case he's coming back. They would only make the shorts if they knew for sure he was coming back. The question is when? All right, Khalil Roundtree even got himself a pair of custom shorts for this weekend. And he's not even fighting for the title. And even when he did fight for the title against Alex, he didn't have custom shorts. But now all of a sudden he does. And then Shavkat's got some, but they took him down. Who's the motherfucker who posted the shorts on Venum's website and got in trouble and had to take him down? Who's that motherfucker? Can we find out if that motherfucker got fired? Ariel Helwani, where are you? I hope Ariel talks about it tomorrow. Oh, wait, he won't be on his show tomorrow because today's Wednesday. He might talk about it eventually. Maybe he'll post about it on the twits. It's Shavkat Rakhmonov. Anyway, bitches, I am mucho hungry. I need to eat food. I need to put a lot of food in my stomach. And I need to chew it first, and then I need to swallow it. That's it. That's it for this episode of the Dynamite Gizmo Shitcast. UFC exclusive podcast. That's it. If you enjoyed any of it or didn't, you can go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. You can, but you really don't have to. But I would much appreciate if you did, but you really don't have to. But you can if you want to. Bye.